Good morning, everyone. It's not Thursday, December 15th. It's actually Friday, December 16th, believe it or not. Yeah, got the title wrong, but we're back. So, welcome back, everyone. I'll invite a couple people up. If you would like to come up here and speak, just raise your hand, and I'll take a look at your comment history and invite you up.
It's Friday the 16th.
Is that like a scary day, like Friday the 13th, or just...
I don't know, it just sounds cool.
You know what else sounds cool? Sound of pre-market dropping like a cannonball.
Do we have any news opinion?
I don't.
Yeah, I haven't really seen any news either, other than quad witching day.
You know who always knows? Scald. Scald, why is SPY dropping?
I can throw an opinion after he does.
Sorry, what was that, Skull? Or I heard my name. What was that?
Why is SPY dropping? Explain.
You know, it really comes down to the fact that in the 1990s, the Bank of New Zealand set an arbitrary inflation target of 2%. Then New Zealand's economy just had a rip-roaring time, and everyone was like, man, 2% inflation's a great target. But the reality is it's 100% arbitrary. It was decided by one central bank that wasn't even the American central bank in one economy 30 years ago. And so now we're all targeting this inflation number based on basically a single data point. And that just seems a little ridiculous to me.
Last month's or this month's CPI number, no, I'm not talking about last month's CPI number, came in cooler than expected, and we went from 374 up to 390. So there's a gap to fill down to 374 without some type of event to make everybody start to believe again. And that event may be next Friday with PC. So
What's
I say
next Friday?
till next Friday. Sorry, guys. 374.
This is the Hyundai Kia event. If you believe you'll buy an EV from someone other than Tesla. Puts all day, baby.
A helicopter. I'm sorry if I'm interpreting what you said wrong. I'm a little bit confused. Did you give a price target for SPY of 374?
Yes, by next Friday before the PCE number comes out. There's no real news other than the Fed speakers today and next week's unemployment or jobless claims on Thursday. There's no real cataclysmic event to get people starting to be bullish again. I'm not saying we have a total downtrend, but these two big down days in a row seem to believe there's a lot more sellers than buyers. And even though we may go up today to make up for some of the gap, we still have to fill the gap down to 374 if we wish to move upward again.
Helicopter. Do you think there will be any stock that will not be corollary with SPY, that will react inversely or just differently than how SPY will in the next week?
I've actually been looking at that. I look at the top 35 percentage makers up of SPY daily. I have a chart list for them. And yesterday, almost all of them were down, except for Tesla, which was an anomaly.
Are you looking within the index, though? Sorry, did you say you're not outside the index, only within the index of SPY?
Yes, it was the top 35 percentage makers of the SPY, fund ETF. The top 35 are listed by percentage, and of course, I believe Tesla is one of the tops, but if not the top. But when it comes down to it, all of those daily I watch and track. Yesterday, ConocoPhillips was the one that held the best, but today it seems like it's down pre-market. I'm going to keep watching it for the next few days and see if any are strong or not. And of course, those are the ones that I'll watch for to get stronger after we start another run up or down. But I honestly think they all go downward over the next few days or next week to reset a new level. And we'll check it out. We'll see as we go. But right now, yesterday, Tesla was the only one of the top 35 that finished positive.
Yeah, Reddit was also down for me this morning. I tried to create a talk, and it kept kicking me down to the audience, and another talk couldn't be started because it said I was in the talk. So glad to see this is working for you, Opinion.
Thank you. I will say that I had no hand in building this. It is completely not my fault.
Yeah, Opinion, you're getting dragged on some of the other forums that are trying to be WallStreetBets like. And I was curious, Like, what made them hate you so much, dude?
It's a good question. I guess we'll never know.
Probably
No.
his attitude
Starts
towards
with a V.
veterans.
He's
Probably
Canadian.
'cause
They
he's
ain't.
Canadian.
Yeah, they hate me because I'm Canadian. No. Like, I think, like, the best way to rile up a crowd is to get them angry at something. So right now that something happens to be me. That's cool. You know.
Just
Guys,
wanted to
his
confirm.
opinion is unpopular. It's in the name. How are we shocked?
I know, like,
They
this
hate
is
us
all
because they
baked
ain't
in.
us,
What's
right?
wrong with you?
That's what it is. They hate us because they ain't us.
His opinion is baked in. Why are you thinking that you should hate him because his opinion is unpopular and rant?
I don't know. You're never gonna win. You know, arguing with certain people on the internet. So I just there you go. It's not a big deal.
You know, the easiest way to start an argument on the internet is just state an opinion.
Oh no, that's my whole raison d'être. I don't know.
So
I think
in
it'll blow
order
over. Go ahead. Or red.
I was going to say, in order to avoid controversial topics, how about we start with GME might drop below 20.
You said we're not doing controversial topics, and then you say GME.
Oh, my friend, you
How
belong in
about
this chat so
Carvana
very
puts?
much.
Come on, Carvana puts. That's what I'm on today.
I don't know. It could drop under 20. We're really close.
I like the Carvana puts. I bought some yesterday when it was about 580 or 568. The heavy amount of open interest for $5 calls is 20,000. That's by far the most of any action on that ticker. I still have half of them yesterday when I bought them at 560. Half it went to 100% profit, so I sold half. The other half are riding on their dime, and I'm about 65% up, 62.5% actually. So
That's my boy right there. Go
yeah.
helicopter.
I think that it'll go near or below 5 to avoid paying those out, and also to stop people from wanting to make a run on it. There was news on Thursday, or it's Wednesday, that Citibank or Citi, I don't know if they go by more than that, raised their status to hold. And that's a biased opinion because Citi has part of the $3.2 billion loan to them for the Odessa auto auctions. So before you ever listen to that market forecast, realize what.
Wait, helicopter. Are you saying that Citibank is basically the number one debt fiduciary of Carvana to
No.
try to? Oh my! Are you kidding me?
Citi and JP
I thought
Morgan.
Allied Bank was.
Citi and JP Morgan together lent Carvana $3.2 billion in February to buy the Odessa auctions. And it was only valued at 2.4 billion. So they lent them almost another $1 billion that wasn't secured. So of course they're going to say, hey, we think the company deserves a chance. Ally is very big, but they're secured as well with auto floor plan, which is about 2.2 billion. So they have that secured with autos that are decreasing in value. So they will back that off soon. Apollo and a few other companies are the biggest unsecured lenders. They have about $4 billion in bonds that they bought that are pretty much worthless. And they're all agreeing not to fight each other to sell them off for pennies on the dollar, hoping that Carvana doesn't go bankrupt.
Thank you so much for that, DD, dude. Because honestly, I've been looking at Carvana's model, and as a used car salesman, it makes no fucking sense. You're buying cars at an insane high markup, and then expecting people to, jump in and buy cars. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, when you sell cars without your own service department or your own service center, it doesn't make any sense. Now they do have 54 service centers they bought when they bought the Odessa auctions, but that's mostly to fix up the cars at auctions and the cars for his dad at drive time. So realistically, they are a place that sells cars with nothing to stand behind it when it breaks down. They sell 400,000 a year, and they don't have the following of like a GameStop or something where people enjoy their business. So
Yeah, I mean, how
fault.
many poor people out here are able to actually buy a car through a vending machine because their credit is shot?
That's Daddy's company, Drive Time. Daddy's company. And last thing about that, Daddy's company is Drive Time. They share an office building in Arizona, and he actually sells all the warranties and gap policies to and underwrites them to Carvana. So he is actually the big money maker in all this, because all the money that flows out of Carvana goes to his company, which is of course not a corporation, it's private. So, and he's probably buying up the stock cheap right now, hoping it turns around, or coming up with a plan for it to turn around. But they just don't have the capital yet, or the shareholder equity left for one more financial statement.
Do you have any idea the assets that Carvana owns in regards to the type of car, the type of cars they have, and what value that has long term within the next 2 years? I assume it would take about a year to clean up, right?
There will not be no value to their cars, because all of them are floor planned, which means they've borrowed money on every one of them at a value that's more likely probably higher than the market value, because Ally will allow them a value that's higher on their automotives based on the auction price, which gives them a big loophole now if Daddy wants to sell them a car at auction above market value, because Ally will floor plan that for the auction price, which is over the market value, because they bought it at auction. So it gives a really biased and strange look. So the cars don't have value. The only value in the company is about it's over $1 billion of real estate somehow that they've got through the ADESA purchase that wasn't attached to any secured loan. So they do.
I love this funneling money businesses coming up like this. This is amazing.
No, Carvana
Financial
is
engineering.
Carvana is definitely in a big problem right now, where they bet everything on the pandemic. They bought up a bunch of cars. I've been reading horror stories, mind you. Once again, I am a car salesman, so take that as you will. But people are really upset because Carvana tried to use the pandemic to be a rotational sort of like, look at us, we're doing something different. But who do you buy clothing without trying it on? So would you buy a car without realizing, like, oh wait, my car showed up and nobody replaced the brakes, the rotors, the tie rods? You know what I mean? Start naming it. It's a failing business.
And the last thing I'll throw in is I'm a car salesman too, but my first 3 years in the car business was in accounting, where I actually did the financial statements. And if you don't have a service department, you're losing out on a lot of service profits. Selling used cars is very profitable in the right markets, compared to new cars in the old days. Now, new cars for the last 2 years have been more profitable because of the lack of supply due to chip shortages and other shortages that were going on. So realistically, used cars and new cars are both profitable right now. But if you don't have that service department, you don't have the ability to keep customers or to make extra money selling parts and labor.
Wouldn't a service like CarMax that is in direct competition with Carvana, wouldn't the implied volatility mean that if you were playing leverage, it would be better to play an opposing company rather than Carvana?
Yeah, CarMax and America's Car Mart have both been beaten down about to pre-pandemic levels, but the used car sales are about 50% of where they usually are in the market right now. CarMax reports next week on the 22nd. I plan on having some puts in place a few days beforehand. They haven't reported anything yet. I thought they would report early, like FedEx did like 4 or 5 months ago, saying we anticipate changing our 2023 objectives. But they haven't done that yet. But right now we're doing about 50% of the usual volume that we do, with about the same amount of profit per unit.
How far out are you going to look on those puts? I'm looking at the February 55s.
No, I'm looking at the next possible one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the next possible one, because I'm anticipating a drop down. And
the January 20s?
Yeah,
or the weeklies.
Profit. That gives me 2 or 3 weeks. And plus with the tax possible sell-off of that stock, that would give me an extra dip down before the end of the year.
SPY is now down 1% pre-market. Again, SPY is now down 1% pre-market.
Yeah, it's bounced back.
Yeah, I'm looking for a step down in SPY again today. I don't think it bounces back from yesterday. If it does go down to 2%, it'll bounce back up. But I see a red day. I don't see it getting back green. But I'm not the financial genius in that by any means or sort. It's just no news to go on.
So helicopter. Let's move on to a different subject. I'm also not only Carvana puts. I'm also looking at puts across the entire market. specifically Coinbase?
That would be Scald's area of expertise. Pretty much, I don't know much about that, but I'm looking for a total downtrend through next Thursday in the market because, like I said, next Friday is PCE, which I expect to be light and give the market a little boost.
Agreed. Here.
Something I do want to point out is that delta neutral is much higher now than the price of SPY. So I'd be hesitant to say that the downtrend will continue going versus some sort of sideways movement unless delta neutral moves dramatically. And it hasn't really done that in the history that I've been tracking for SPY. So just
So in
something
other
to be
words,
aware
bear
of.
market confirmed.
Yes and no. Downward trend, yes, but not yet to the point where I'd say it's only ever going to be bearish from here on out. I suspect there's going to be some attempts to resuscitate the market over the next quarter.
Yeah, the trend I can pick up on is like it'll trade sideways and then it's either like euphoria or depression all in one day. And I would venture to guess we're going to have one of those days in the next trading week.
Also, next trading week is the week before Christmas, so I expect volatility to be much higher and volume to be much lower. So just keep that in mind. Your strategies, which may have worked the rest of the year, could suffer this coming week.
So what you're saying are VIX calls?
No, VIX calls would require a lot of downward movement and a lot of volume. You have a low amount of liquidity because of the low volume, which would mean more erratic price movement.
The flip side of that is the days after Christmas, I think it's like the 5 days after Christmas before January 1st, has the highest rolling 7-day average of like 1.2%, whereas any other period during that time has 0.02% green. So typically after Christmas, there is a small rally.
What's interesting is that so far this year, on days that are thinly traded, like say the day after Thanksgiving, when we expect lower volume and higher volatility, we've had lower volume and lower volatility on those days, which is odd. It's not what I would expect, right? With lower volume, I'd expect higher volatility, but it'll be interesting to see what happens in the next week.
And that would go into the comment before your Scald would go into my thought that PCE might rally us because PCE is next Friday. And the core PCE, if it's lower, will give us a rally Christmas week, but not like we've seen before. I still see a downtrend.
So we do have a question in the comments from the real Captain Mac asking about Carvana. Can anyone speak to unpledged real estate and what that means for this or any company?
They have to sell it to get money. Right now, they're very cash and liquidity having that necessity. Sorry, I don't remember the word. So basically what I mean is they have to have 20% of their total floor plan on hand in cash or Ally will lower their floor plan. So the problem with that is they won't have that with this round of financial statements unless they can sell some real estate. You have to make profits to have cash or sell stuff. That's a simple problem of life. But for Carvana, if they have this real estate and they can't find a buyer for it, then they're going to lose the amount of floor plan they have, which means they have less cars to sell. Which means
what's the deadline on the floor plan?
I think Ally does that monthly and gives them warnings. They do a floor plan check on $2.2 billion, and they're doing it in a rotation style. What that means is they send one person to one Carvana, count the cars, another one to another, count the cars, and they'll give them so much allotment for cars that are in transport and to locate them and to actually write it down. So that floor plan check is very difficult for Ally. Once they figure out that the floor plan is high and the cars are old, they will make them sell some of them at auction, at their own auction, which kind of kills them. So they check it monthly, but they're not going to check $2.2 billion worth of cars every month.
Is that a
potential shortfall between cash on hand and the floor plan required cash on hand? Is this something that's small enough to be corrected by like a line of credit from a different bank?
That they would need. They're going to have to need if they lose 500 million this time again, like they were forecasting, that would leave them with a shortfall of about 200,000 in cash, if I remember right, which would be about another than or 200 million. I'm sorry, which would leave them or 200,000. Trying to remember the number. It's going to leave them about 200 billion short for my calculation, or 200 million short on the billions. So they're going to have to get rid of probably 10 to 20% of their inventory if they don't keep that cash.
About their ability to raise money by selling shares or selling bonds or some other capital
And cash
instrument.
equivalents as well. I'll dig into the financial statements again. I'm trying.
Because cash and equivalents for trailing 12 months ending in December 2021 is 400 million. Now, minus all the cash activity that's happened since then, I would imagine that number is closer to 150 to 175. And then you had mentioned there's, I think, a $200 million shortfall. So the cash requirements, including floor plan, is 350 million. Did I get that right?
20% of 2.2 billion, 10%
So
would be
400 million. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So $500 million loss would put them at, I think they were 100 and some million over on the last financial statement. So that would put them at a very much a risk of losing some of their cars, which, you know, they're going to sell through Daddy's auction anyway. So, or through their auction anyway, and sell some of Daddy's cars and make them money. So, I mean, half and half, what they're doing is they're taking money out and taking it to Drive Time, which is privately owned.
So to reiterate on Carvana, something I see as somebody in the industry, we have a lot of vehicles that are being delivered to customers where no matter how much they want to say that they're going to have the service shop mentality done, you can't buy a car online. I'm sorry, but it's one of the few things that I firmly believe you have to see in person to know what you're buying. And Carvana basically got fucked on trying to take advantage of the pandemic and moving as many vehicles as possible. But when you think about a car is the second largest asset that most Americans or people would buy. Number one would be a house. And a car is a depreciating asset. Unless you're, you know, rich enough that you can buy like a Porsche 911R and tuck it away in a garage for 10 years, you're really not making profit on cars. And Carvana's model collapsed under them because these cars, the moment they get them, they have tons of maintenance issues, they have tons of problems. They don't have any kind of team to be able to make sure, like, if I were Carvana, all the cars should come to a central hub where specialized mechanics and technicians can restore them to a point to put them in their vending machines all around the world. I digress. I think Carvana has just screwed the pooch.
I think we
Yeah, so adding to that, there was a issue specifically with a guy in Denver who was suing Carvana because he had bought a car from them and there had been an issue and he took it to a mechanic shop and it turned out that the frame was structured and that the car had basically been totaled, which meant it did not go through that 109-point inspection that Carvana said it did. And he also had a problem trying to register the car because apparently it had been owned by Hertz previously, and Hertz had their whole problem of reporting cars stolen, whether or not they actually were. And the car he bought was one of those.
No way.
Yeah.
So you're telling me like straight up that they're not even doing the 109-point inspection they proclaim to do. They're selling lemon law vehicles.
No, here's what goes on, guys. With those vehicles, they were rushing through to make as much money as possible to make their company more like the $300 a share company they had in front of them. They were taking cars in and selling them before they did a title check. So that car was checked. It was fixed after it was stolen. The problem was they couldn't produce a title for it because they didn't do the right background check for the car. They sold it not representing that it was a probably a totaled vehicle or a reconstructed vehicle after being stolen or totaled. I can't remember the exact situation with that, but on a larger scale, They were buying a car from a customer who had a payoff. They would pay that bank off. They would never get the title, but not never. They would go 2 or 3 weeks and sell the car and not have the title yet, and not do the title check work yet. When they go to do the title work within the 20 days as prescribed by most states, then the state would send something back and say, sorry, there's a problem here. After 2 months, the customer's temporary registration ran out. So now you've got a customer with that can't drive his car legally because there's no registration on it. So they would issue registrations from another state temporarily. And that's why states have cut them off. 3 different states cut them off because they were issuing temporary registrations from different states.
So all in all, Carvana is a shit company. They're probably going to go out of business. So I guess most people, I guess the consensus is to buy puts. But I'm just curiosity, is anybody playing this different? Is anybody selling like in the money calls? I mean, you can make a lot more money selling in the money calls.
I mean,
on the big dips,
IV,
sell short term.
You say sell put?
Hey guys,
buy calls on the short term when it dips big because it goes up again another 5 or 10%. Like every day this week, it's been going up and then falling back down. So if you buy it on the spike upward, you're going to make it downward. If you buy it on the spike downward for calls, you're going to make money going upward. So realistically, you just play the directional plays after big swings for this company.
But do you believe that this company is going bankrupt?
Oh, absolutely. I don't think there's a way out of it. They do have a short-term run to go before they get insolvent.
Anybody who's ever had experience in cars knows exactly how Carvana essentially screwed the pooch.
I think we've done enough about Carvana.
Let's move on.
Who else has plays?
I have a question
I've
about
got
the large.
some updates on plays. So just sort of looking retrospectively at how things have done, the Bud puts paid off nicely. GLP, which I entered yesterday, is down 1% this morning, looking at resolving a head and shoulders pattern on the monthly chart. I just think it's going to have a little bit of downseas here now that the upseas have resolved. And Newegg, this is one I've missed, folks. I thought Newegg was going to have a pump, and I guess I do still have another, 40 trading days for that thesis to bear out, but I could be wrong on that one. And those could expire worthless. We'll see what happens.
Roblox is down terribly on bad news. They're not getting the subscriptions increase that they want. They're still a losing company month to month or quarter to quarter. So I'm still going to be in Roblox long-term puts, at least for the next month, and hold them.
Netflix has come back down to delta neutral. See if you could enter January 2023 320 calls for about 1090 or less if you're feeling speculative.
What ticker was that again, Hardy?
Netflix.
On the Roblox play, I have 3 kids. All 3 of them are asking for Robux for Christmas. That shit is expensive. You know what's cheaper? Buying them a subscription and canceling it a month later. So what do you think I'm doing for Christmas?
Absolutely. You're not going to stay with that forever. That's why that
Sorry,
company,
kids, Christmas is canceled.
Good. Yeah, it's a good long-term put on Roblox. They're basically an Uber or something like that doesn't deserve to be up there by losing money. It's a fad. Go away. I know. I'm sorry, but if you're not making money and you're not growing, you don't deserve to have that stock price.
No, I don't disagree with that, but I think they'll be around. I think ultimately it's going to stick. The kids, I mean, they've caught at least for a while.
I think they're just getting started in the VR space.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I just don't know when to buy them. It's one of those things that might be a great company at some point, but is a terrible stock to own because they've got to dilute to pay.
Here's a weird angle. I would wait until Apple releases their mixed reality headset, because if I'm going to trust anybody to get the metaverse right, I could see it being Apple.
Not Roblox or Minecraft with their pseudo metaverses? What about Animal Crossing from Nintendo?
Okay, yeah, you've got a fair point, but I'm just saying in terms of a proper mixed reality headset, I would trust Apple with that kind of technology. I mean, no matter how much I love to hate on Apple, they always bring it home. And it's pretty apparent with their recent filings for XR OS and the fact that Apple's not going to release a product that doesn't have the kind of Steve Jobs mentality behind it. I'm going to put my might behind waiting for Apple to release their headset, and I'm going all in on calls.
Would you say that's a bullish sign for the AR VR market in general, though? That
I'd say it's
Apple's looking to
actually
invest?
bearish. I'd say
Let's
it's
pause.
bearish.
Let's pause for
It's
just a
like,
second. I want you guys to Google a thing. It's called Mojo Vision. And let's pause on AR, VR, any of that stuff until everybody in this call sees Mojo Vision, right? And at least consumes what that is.
What
And then you
about the
guys come
contact
back and
lens
talk to me
company?
about it. It's a company. It's not public. It's what the future
And
of all
why are
this
we
is.
talking about it?
Because all of this is moving into a pair of contact lenses, and everything that's wearable is pointless to talk about over the next 5 years.
Yeah,
Well,
okay,
I would argue
Okay,
the
well,
fact
thank you for
that
sharing, WattGeek. What other plays do we have to share?
I also do think that company was supposed to. They were trying to come out via a SPAC. I thought I remember.
They just
okay, what?
They're not
What
public.
geek?
Let's
What
move
geek?
on.
they're not.
So we can move on just really quick. That is not going to be the bastion of VR. It is a
Enough about this hypothetical vaporware. What other plays do we have?
So I recently closed my Rivian positions, took some pretty heavy losses, and I'm looking to go either short on Rivian, the flip side, or go short on Lucid. I was wondering which one you guys would go short on, and if there's another car company that you think is more bearish than these
Didn't
two.
Bank of America just say that Lucid, they're setting a price target of $21?
I didn't see that.
Okay. I'm looking at Morgan Stanley, ticker MS, January 2020, 2023, 8750 calls for 355 or less. Similarly, touching delta neutral, and the last 2 times it's done that, it went back up.
What was the play again?
Morgan Stanley, ticker MS, January 2023, 8750 calls for 355 or less.
Appreciate that.
Just one quick thing. I did mention Carvana puts. I know we were off the topic, but I would not buy them today for anything more than 10 cents. They're at 25 cents right now. I bought them for 10 cents yesterday, the $5 puts. I would not take a lottery ticket on them today. On today's expiries, I would look longer out, or I would wait to the next spike.
Part of my concern with Carvana puts is the price and market cap are approaching, I believe, the value of their assets. So in the event of a fire sale, where a subset of the liabilities will be written off, the remaining assets may actually be worth more than the current stock price. So be wary of those puts.
Thanks, Hardy, because that's actually something I think we should keep in mind at the end of the day. They could have done a bunch of stupid things in their business, but underlying assets and valuations are still what they are.
Just remember, I know we're done on the topic, but they bought the Odessa auctions hoping to make money with them, and they overpaid, and they are not making a profit auctioning the cars right now when Odessa used to make a profit because of how much they paid for it. So they do have assets, but you still have to make a profit to keep going forward.
Who else has plays to share?
Yeah, if the last 2 days, I've sold bearish call spreads and then bullish put spreads in between the market as it settles down. Both have been winners, and it's kind of an interesting strategy. If you look at the, hold on, sorry. If you look, you're going to either make both, or that if you go, if you do the same. If you do the same price on either side, you either basically net out less your commissions, or you make on both sides. It's kind of an interesting strategy that's worked the last couple of days with as volatility sort of ends throughout the end of the day. You can look at 0 days to is basically DTEs at about 2 o'clock. And if you go typically 2 to 3 points out, you can get roughly between 10 to 20 cents. So that would be $20 per contract, sell 5, and you'd either net at 0-0, or you could basically make $100 or $200.
Good morning, guys. I thought you might be interested. I think Digital World Acquisition Corp, ticker Delta Whiskey Alpha Charlie, has always been tremendously overvalued. And I don't know if you heard, but well, it's supposed to merge with Truth Social, Trump's social media company. And I think with the recent PR faux pas on his part, and the fact that the CFO of DWAC resigned this morning, I think they're set to fall. They're already down pre-market, but I think
I'm bullish. I'm bullish on DWAC. Trump was able to somehow sell digital trading cards, a kind way to say it's an NFT without saying NFT, and he sold out. I hate to say it, but I feel like it's a little short term.
How much money would he have? How much revenue did the sellout generate?
I think it was over 40 million. Apparently, every single one of them sold out within 12 hours.
And it goes to Truth Social? Or it goes to Trump organization?
I think, no, I think the organization said that Trump licensed his name. He's not getting the money directly. I mean, this is just all seems like a bunch of fuckery. So take your political opinions, put them to the side. This just seems like, you know what? I wouldn't play this right now because we have a lot of retarded regarded
Part
Americans.
that doesn't make sense to me is, does the money flow through DWAC or through Social?
Agreed.
Quick correction. It's 4.4 million, not 40.
Well, wait a minute, guys. The point of correction, that's the total collection volume. The initial sales were 10,000 units at $99 a piece. So 100% of that money would have gone to him. Of the secondary sales on the market, only the royalty percentage on the NFT would have flown back to their coffers. So the $4.4 million number, only a percentage of that would have gone back to DWAC. The rest would be divided among the person who actually resold the NFT for a profit and any of the marketplaces that were hosting it.
Exactly.
So cash raise was 1 million, not even actually 990,000.
Correct. It's a drop in the bucket.
Okay, so to what extent does this mean there will be strong irrational buying or retard strength buying on DWAC, courtesy of the Trump fans who couldn't get one of the 10,000 cards? Someone is saying in the comments they don't go to DWAC, it's a separate entity.
Yeah, they are. They are actually through some other entity. They basically just have a licensing deal with Trump, apparently, and they're making money, and it has nothing related to the Trump organization. That yada yada yada. So yeah, just keep that in mind. You're basically paying someone else. It's like someone borrowing from Mickey Mouse or Disney, and then basically selling an off-brand product. That's really what it is.
So basically, that supposed bull case can't hold water, right?
Yeah, but does it then mean that DWAC will fall faster than puts are currently pricing in?
I hope so.
Okay. What other plays do we have?
I'm looking at Michael Burry's portfolio. He's bought more prison-related stocks. I don't know what the bullish thesis for prison is, but this is very interesting. So I'm gonna follow him and buy a bunch of shares.
Wasn't that old news though by now?
No, he picked up the other ones too.
At
Course
what? Well, if you can do better than his entry price, then yeah, I'd say it's a good idea.
If you're talking about Geo, it pumped a lot since
No, Core Civic.
Core Civic he's
actually,
bought too.
Yeah, and also actually Geo has come back down to about the 1050 mark, which is before the pump started. He did get in pretty early, but the news dropped like around $10. So
I guess it kind of like you don't know if he sold. You know what I mean? He
Right,
could have
right.
made
It's the
that
end
big
of the
profit
quarter.
because he had a ton in Geo. He's been buying
Right.
and selling Geo quite frequently through his filings.
That's true.
But I mean, nonetheless, I am kind of bullish on prison stocks. Just recessions lead to higher crime, at least statistically. But whether that's true or not, long term.
I just have a hunch that it might have something to do with the like the detention centers for like immigrants. Who's having side conversations back there?
Sounds like the best bet to me would be to build like a very ritzy federal prison for Sam Bankman-Fried.
I'm looking at restoration hardware puts, just on the general recession woes. I think high-end furniture and things like that might see a tough road ahead.
Whoa, you're gonna get puts on Buffett?
And less on Buffett and more on just people not having disposable income to spend on a $15,000 couch.
Well, before recession, who do these companies even cater to? Like these high-end furnitures.
Rich clientele.
I mean, it's gaudy as fuck. Like I wouldn't buy it.
It's rich clientele. 'Cause you need a membership to even buy stuff there.
You have to understand that rich people love to buy uncomfy pieces of clothing and or furniture for the sake of having something that you can't have. That's,
What the fuck?
People also buy things for assets to write off for tax season, so keep that in mind too.
Do NFTs count as assets?
They do not.
Yes. Do they? I thought they did.
Please show me the code.
Stand by.
I'm thinking airlines might go down today. So looking for AAL and UAL for some down plays. Looking for UAL at 37, 34 today. Going in for the 37 puts.
So that's United and American Airlines, right? Why those two in particular?
Because why in particular? There is none. Just the fact that there's some down movement for them that needs to be led on, and then also the fact that the COO sold off in November, and I'm just speculation. So there's no DD here.
Tesla puts anyone?
Still holding those 140 puts I was talking about earlier, buddy, and it's going well. It's going well.
Tesla's still green pre-market.
Was I wrong?
Tesla and Meta are the only top 35 SPY components that are green pre-market. Tesla and
Ooh,
Meta.
Meta's green.
Red Day confirmed, boys. Once they're green pre-market, they're going to get everybody on FOMO the moment that the market opens and crash it right to dirt.
All right, Meta puts, guys.
Today's dividend for SPY, by the way, just FYI. And also AI, you're correct. It is not asset class.
So UAL has a gap fill for 37.22 to give or take 38.31 between those two to fill that gap. So that was my personal DD on there, but it's all speculation, right? There's no true intent when gaps get filled, if they ever get filled. But that would be my first hindsight for that.
So, anybody have any Meta puts that they're putting in? I'm starting to look at the options chain.
I do have a question for anybody that's willing to answer. Because it's quadruple witching week today, essentially is a day. Is there anything that we should be looking out for when playing options? Is the value less now? That a decay, all that stuff. I don't know if anybody wants to.
If I can just say, yesterday I was observing that both puts and calls were losing money on SPY. So IVs could be very high right now. I feel like they are high. You know what I mean?
I don't. Can you elaborate, please?
So basically, even if you're right on the direction, people are spending money for contracts for the right to sell shares or buy shares at a point that it's unsustainable on both ends, whether it's a put or a call. Um, Too much speculation in the markets, and that's why I went for VIX calls. You know, I'm just betting volatility through the holiday season. That's my personal opinion.
Okay, I was looking for today in particular. I know the chat says Thursday, but for Friday, December 16th, quadruple witching day.
It's probably gonna have a lot of movements before 11 o'clock. Um, Again, like because SPY has that dividend, it's gonna tank basically all the like stocks that are heavily invested in. So just play it safe, especially in like the first 25 to 35 minutes.
And what's the dividend payout for SPY?
It's like $1.50 or like it's like 157 or something like that, but it's about $1 ish, $1.50.
All right, and I wanted to let you guys know that if you haven't heard about the ECB was hawkish, they're saying that there's going to be 50 basis points coming out. That's the European Central Bank. They said there's not going to be any pivot, and they're basically following the Fed's movement. And so I think that's a good reason for putting puts on the bank side. So JP Morgan, WFC for Wells Fargo, BAC for Bank of America, et cetera, et cetera. So just check that out if you have some time this weekend or even today to go on some put plays. Obviously today is quadruple witching week, so be careful. But yeah, that's my 2 cents.
So quadruple witching increases the volume for today, I assume. So
the volatility, not the volume. So it would be smaller.
So the volatility increases by 50% then.
Yeah, I believe. And
Okay.
I want to mention this. Of the top 35 components of SPY right now, only 3 of them have lost more value today than SPY, which means either 2 things. One, SPY is pulled down farther than it should be, or the other 100 components of SPY are down larger percentage than the top 35 are. So I'm not analyzing that data particularly to make a play yet, but I'm letting you guys all know. Usually it's the other way around. SPY is usually not down the most, or 31st or 32nd out of 35 components, the top 35 components of it.
Damn, where's Hardy? Because we can talk about arbitrage in this scenario.
Well,
So isn't like SPY rebalancing today as well? Like
Well,
end of
SPY had a
market.
big sell off overnight because of the futures. The futures had to sell off, I think, roughly 30 billion because of how it dropped in value yesterday during the market. So literally, and they have the same type of endings for markets that everyone else does. So they had to sell that to avoid liquidity. So we're down partially because of the futures market, obviously.
Which is in correlation with the quad witching as well, right?
Exactly. And I still see 374. So we might have another sell off into Monday, or they may start to try to take it positive again. But I still see filling that gap because the futures and the regular market have to keep catching up with each other.
But the gap doesn't have to fill that soon, does it?
No, it usually fills over about a week or two, though, if it's on a downward trend. It doesn't take long.
Yeah, I agree. By next week for sure. I'd be
That's what I was
amazed what
saying.
happened today.
I was saying next Friday as
All right,
idea for puts.
so
Any spike on SPY today, I'm going to go 374 puts, or actually probably 377, 378 puts for next Friday.
Yeah, that'd be good play.
So looking at the Nasdaq calendar, so today is Nasdaq 100 rebalance. Also S&P 500, 400, and 600 rebalance. And that's about it. Oh, and also Monday is QQQ ex dividend. So just keep in mind of all these upcoming major volatility. I mean, it's pretty much priced in on the option chain, but it also creates a lot of discord on the market, regardless.
Some
Still sell
hard.
buy puts before next Friday because PCE is still programmed or prophesied by the Cleveland Fed to come in at 4.78 when we're expecting 5. So if it comes in light, yeah, I'll have my SPY puts sold by next Thursday.
Who was it that said that puts on banks? Because I think Hardy mentioned a Morgan Stanley call play.
He did for quite the time away. I believe it was in January.
Oh, your short term?
Yeah, short term today. I just want to say for Hardy Rection, he's doing some DD, obviously. I posted a comment in the comment section, questions for Hardy. Post here. He will respond later. If you guys have any questions regarding the SPY or any questions for Hardy, feel free to post right under there and he'll get back to you. He'll reply to you.
Are you his EA?
I'm his secretary right now. Yeah, that's correct.
It's good to know.
Would you like
Thank
to
you.
send some flowers or no?
You're prettier than
I will.
secretary.
Yes. Send us your Venmo link.
Okay, I'll make sure he does that. Just post in the comments. Thanks. But in all seriousness, guys, that is there. There is this one stock called MindSpeed, MND. Not saying to go into it. I was just curious what you guys' thoughts are on that, and then just kind of alter mind sector. What is your guys' opinion on that going into 2023? And if there's any good plays to jump in early this week or next week for those kind of stocks?
What is it, a mushroom stock?
Yes, sir. Mushrooms will do too.
Nice. So
I
just a
really don't
competitor.
know what it is. It's just mind altering. Go ahead.
Is it a competitive MindMed, basically?
I really don't know. I just got thrown the ticker. So I was like, okay, I'll look at it, but I figured I'd ask you guys.
Roger
Yeah,
that.
I'm
First time
smoking
I've heard of it.
copium. I'm smoking copium on MindMed right now.
All right. Let's see. So you guys have any plays for today? Anybody want to send some gambles up? Feel free to post in comments
I
or
just
come on the mic.
SPY puts are priced better before open. We're going to have a drop on them, obviously. They're priced better for the Thursday's expiration than Friday's expiration. I may consider going that one. They're expecting PCE to be bad next week, but I expect it to be good. But I'm going to play Thursdays because it's a better price than Friday's expiration for SPY puts.
How do you guys feel about holiday spending this year? You think it's going to be the same or it's going to drop?
Everybody seemed to initiate that the only reporting was that online for Black Friday and spending were up, but there were no reports about in-store spending, which a lot of people have reported on here that were poor. So they might only report online just to keep everybody a little bit positive. My opinion is it'll be down.
There was an article yesterday that I did not click on. I just saw the headline, and it said that overall, this was the worst retail year that we've seen in a long time, both online and in brick and mortar. That was the headline, but I didn't.
I mean, there wasn't really anything exciting to purchase. Nothing really jumped at me to buy.
I've heard that a lot too. I think I've heard at least 3 or 4 different people say there wasn't shit that I wanted to buy.
Are we officially in the era of Roman circus?
I haven't purchased yet, to be honest. I'm going to purchase this week.
So calls on TJ Maxx then, since we're probably going to be seeing a lot of rolled over inventory that nobody wants.
Yeah, Ollie's is already getting in stuff that other people have canceled for Christmas. So
Anybody
on the NFT.
anybody getting puts on Oracle because of the TikTok news?
What was the TikTok news on that? I thought they had a partnership or some sort.
Well, like Oracle runs their cloud in America,
Yeah.
but U.S. government doesn't like Oracle in America. Well, U.S. government's
What?
banning.
What?
All right,
Wait, since
so
when did the
TikTok.
U.S.
Sorry, no,
government
no, I'm sorry.
not
Oh my
like
God.
Oracle,
There
dude?
What are
What
you
the
smoking?
fuck?
All right.
TikTok.
Yeah, yeah.
Executive branch doesn't want to TikTok, um, like for their employees.
Saying
I
Like at
TikTok
first they
employees.
banned.
You're
It still
basically
Yeah,
doesn't
well,
saying
make sense.
all
you're
right. So
saying
at
TikTok
first they
employees
banned.
can't use
Sorry,
Oracle.
sorry. At first they banned TikTok on the U.S. military bases, and then now they're looking to ban like TikTok on like all executive branch and probably like all the three branches
Yeah,
of the
but
government.
do not confuse TikTok and Oracle, dude. Oracle is basically IBM class.
I
I
know, I know. I'm just saying. My coffee didn't sink in, but Oracle like runs the cloud for TikTok right now.
So we expect you to bring your A game. Just want to say next time, no excuses.
So wouldn't it be more of a bullish thing? Because if they shut down TikTok in the US, that means they don't have to run those servers anymore.
Bullish for Oracle?
Yeah.
Well, isn't like TikTok like the only tech company right now that's growing at the pace of like pandemic levels? And Oracle will be, you know, losing a big chunk of that revenue.
Hold on.
They probably get the revenue either way.
I thought the news was it's just on government devices. That's not hurting the kiddies.
Correct, but they want to like start expanding the ban on TikTok.
To like everyone? Is that what you're trying to say?
Something
Haven't
like
they
that.
already had it banned from government phones for a very long time, like since the Trump administration?
TikTok has been banned for a while within governmental settings. I don't know why this is an issue right now, but okay.
Yeah, my point exactly. This is like extremely old news.
This is like 2000. Well, let's not even mention it. All right, guys, moving forward, I do have a play. I'm looking for MS 2023 calls, and I think actually we could go into the 90 slot, but you can definitely pick up those 87s. For today, I'm going to go with Coin 35 puts at 14 cents. Hopefully, it gaps up a little bit, lets me get it in cheaper, and I'm looking for that baby to drop.
Speaking of gap ups, Meta has just gapped up here coming into the open.
Here, I just posted the news article about TikTok that was date marked yesterday.
Yeah, right before the bell, I'm going to let you guys know that in my SPY, actually the bell just rang. Tesla and Meta are still the only things green. Apple just turned green.
What's the play on Meta? I missed that one.
He's specifically talking about the stocks that make up SPY, about who's green in SPY, but SPY overall is down still, correct?
Yeah, I'm for Meta in particular. I'm looking for it to go up so I can buy some puts into next week instead of playing, SPY puts for next week or something like that.
Yeah, SPY is still 30th out of the top 36 or 35 components of it. So it's down 1.14% when there's only 5 of the top 35 components that are down more than it. So it could go green today. It might be being held down because of the futures market, but we'll see.
I kind of agree with Hardy.
Everything is looking horrible, so just keep positive today, everybody. and happy holidays, Merry Christmas.
Merry
Yes.
Christmas.
Spend this weekend thinking of what's really important, your lack of due diligence.
Amen, brother.
Meme stocks and penny stocks all the way.
Remember that we all love you here, even if we will completely rag on you. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas.
Hey, that's next week, And happy Kwanzaa.
And a Merry Festivus for all of you.
For the rest of us.
Festivus.
Merry Crisis.
So Plug Power had a announcement, was it yesterday or the day before, with announced a partnership with Nikola and are purchasing 75 hydrogen-powered fuel trucks. Any comments or laughter from anyone?
Isn't Nikola founder still trying to get out of jail?
Is this like a fake company?
Wasn't Nikola the one that they found out they were rolling the cars down a hill? No, I'm not even joking.
No, you're right. It was the trucks. It was the trucks, and I think Tesla offered to race them, and they never replied or something like that.
Anyway, I'm bullish on Plug, and I'm selling puts.
I mean, at least Nikola has an actual physical truck.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure if they don't deliver, they're not going to get paid. So
Yeah, but is it bulletproof?
Guys, let's just stop talking about Nikola. It's going to be a waste of time. Very simple. It was complete vaporware. They rolled it down a hill. All they did was say in the promotional video, "Here's the Nikola in motion." Well, they weren't exactly lying. It was in motion, just it wasn't using its own electric power. They rolled it down a 2% gradient. So, take that as you will. Just stop talking about Nikola.
So I have a Nikola play here.
A Plug Nikola play.
If you wanted to really play EVs, after the banks just literally said that they think Lucid's going to be 21 price target, I mean, you want to talk about EVs, I would be looking at Lucid.
Mast, how do you feel about that price target?
I feel it's a little steep. It's obviously a little too up there or whatever. I mean, I'd love to see it get up there, to be honest, but there hasn't really been any catalyst backing this price target yet. So I think it's a little overzealous, if you will. But if there are targets by insiders, they must have some sort of information backing this boastful price target, if you will. But then again, I think it's because they might have money in the fund in the first place, because Bank of America was part of a syndicate of banks that has approved Lucid for a $1.5 billion loan, or a $1 billion loan with a $500 million extension that they still haven't taken out yet. So the fact that people think that Lucid is going into bankruptcy when they haven't even taken out this loan yet is absolutely ludicrous.
So calls on Ludacris. Got it. I just placed in some meta puts for next week expiring. I think my strike was 115. We'll see how they play out.
What'd you pay?
So I paid about 94 cents. I think I got it at the ask.
Nice.
Yeah, the volume in OI is kind of low for a stock like Meta on some of these options.
Did I die?
Yes.
What? That was way too long. What's happening?
We're all tired, and people are like, "Oh,
I'm just looking at my year to
speaking
date
of
chart.
losing money, does anyone think there's going to be an uptick in any sports betting this weekend, with it being the World Cup final on Sunday?
And you got college bowl season starting today, so I would say yes.
So we're talking about some potentially bullish indicators for DraftKings and oh gosh, my mind is so fried I can't think of the other ones. I know
FanDuel.
MGM has theirs, right?
FanDuel.
FanDuel, yeah.
Yeah. China's having a green day.
So
Yeah.
I'm playing Spy Zero. Sorry.
Go ahead, dude.
Yeah, so I'm playing a call credit spread on Spy. I'm doing a +6 on the strike. I think it was a 9 cent premium. I opened it basically at market open, and just gonna be sitting on that. I'm expecting Spy to maybe go up a little bit, but ultimately, as Hardy had mentioned earlier, just mostly to the side.
Yeah, wish me luck on my final today.
Good luck, sir.
I've done the math on my final for accounting. I need at least a 32 on my final to get a passing grade on my final.
32%.
Yeah, 32% on my
That's a
final, so
lot.
I can pass the entire class on 4B.
Yeah, you're done for. But good luck.
Yeah, you're on this sub. You're not going to do well. Sorry.
That's why I'm staying off the market.
Do you know what the difference
That's why
is
I'm staying
between
off
an
the
asset
market.
and a liability?
An asset is your house. A liability is your wife.
Yeah, pretty much.
Those are examples. Can you give us the
Assets are debits, liabilities are credits. Assets can be anything
But
from
what about if you're FTX?
assets can be anything from insurance, cash, expenses, and then on the debit side you got your capital, and other miscellaneous items for credit.
I wish I shorted Mara. What a piece of shit.
Is it still dropping? What's more at?
413.
Jesus, how the hell does it keep going down?
That sounds like a chill background.
You hear that?
Got a bear in your backyard? Need some help? It sounds like I'm probably pretty close to you. I can run over there real quick.
You got a rifle?
Yeah, I'm ready. You need help?
Yeah. Oh shit, he's in the front door.
Good luck, man.
He's bending me over.
What's going on?
Jay Bourbon's hound dog is barking at the bear that's breaking into his house. That's what's happening.
Grinders
The
up.
bears are running loose.
Grinders up.
Yeah. Chase
It's
that
up.
bear away. We only want bulls.
Well, I'm the gayest bear you know.
So
I meant grayest. Just wait till January creeps around, my friend. We will dump harder than Chipotle aftermath.
Spicy.
Grinder's volume is like a turtle riding on a snail shell.
Meta's pumping hard. No.
Let me ask you guys a question. We've been thinking about natural gas. It just occurred to me that I'm paying like my municipality kind of thing. There's like a private company here in town. And so I know when I go and buy gas at the gas station, I'm paying for gas that they've already purchased at a lower price than what I'm paying. Does the same thing work for the natural gas company here in town? And should we be looking at those energy deliverers as opposed to the supply of natural gas itself? You know what I'm saying?
Like whoever's providing Exxon or whatever.
Yeah, like whoever sends the gas to my house locally. I don't know how that works, or even if we can invest.
Isn't that like Saudi Arabia or something?
No. I'm saying like local to me, like the.
We'll see.
I mean, mine's like
he's talking about who
region
transports
are you
the
at?
natural or supplies the natural gas
Like the
to his
trucks.
line.
No, like the company that I pay my bill to.
I pay my
Dominion Energy.
I mean, whatever, right? I don't know. Mine's just like the town's name, but you know what I'm saying? Like there has to be a company behind that somewhere.
Mine's like Dominion Energy, but they run all the heating and all the sources of energy here, and you can't really purchase it.
Well, I mean, depends on where you're at, because like some towns have their own co-ops, and they're farmed out. But I don't know what the profit margin or structure's like. You gotta FOIA that stuff.
I think it depends where you are, because for me, it's like Enbridge, and they're a huge ass company.
I don't know. I feel like they've probably bought that gas at a premium, and now they're charging us winter prices for it, right? So that's got to be profits.
Real profits are with the speculators, I swear.
Damn right.
Speculators on each barrel of oil is getting at least 40 cents just for the speculation.
GLP is one of the companies you're talking about. It's one in the Northeast. You might want to take a look at that. Wait for the price to
GLP, their
drop.
public speculator company. Was that you, Keeper?
GLP. Wait for the price to get a little bit better.
Thank you, sir.
Damn, is that why they've been up?
They're coming off a Gamma Max.
Literally
but it will be
50% for the year.
So I was in natural gas going into the winter, and I was planning on carrying it across the winter because I I looked at the 5-year history on like, I don't know, 5 different companies, and all of them in November showed like at least a 5% gain year over year for 5 years, and then would continue gains going throughout the winter. And then for some reason in March, all kinds of natural gas companies spike for some reason, year over year, going back for a long way.
Probably because that would be around the time they'd report their fourth quarter or end of first quarter earnings.
Yeah, that probably makes sense because they just made a shitload of money over the winter.
Yeah, that GLP play. Go ahead,
Go
Ray.
ahead, bro. You
Welcome
beat me
back,
to it.
Hardy.
It's yours.
Y'all are terrible at talking.
I had said that someone had questions earlier. I don't know if they were answered.
Somebody had an arbitrage question, but I don't remember what it was.
I think it was about quad witching day and if it has any effect on options.
Generally speaking, any of the witchings are problematic because carry trade holders are rolling over to the next expiration.
So the rolling overs have no effect.
Not that they have no effect, but remember, rolling over means you're selling one thing and you're buying another. It just so happens the broker's going to do it for you.
Got it.
Yeah, it's a lot of contracts changing hands on these days and a lot of stock moving, right? So higher volume than normal.
I think somebody was coming after you, Hardy, in the comments.
Is it time to wrap up? Not feeling it.
About to leave anyway. I don't care.
Yeah, everyone's dead.
Awesome. Well, thanks everyone for tuning in. Sorry about the stream. I know it's a little messed up, but see you all Monday.
Yep, have
Adios,
a good
everybody.
weekend.
Good luck.
Well, one last thing. Avatar comes out today, so if you have any thoughts about Disney going up or down on it, today would be a good day to speculate.
Yeah, buds.
So there's a top post on Reddit actually where someone went to an Avatar 2 theater and it was completely empty except for them.
Yeah, puts it is then.
Puts it
All right.
is.
We'll see you all Monday. Oh, cheers.